finally, the premiere of Legends of Tomorrow happened last night, and I gladly watched it. I was so looking forward to it, mainly because I have been wanting to see Sarah Lance. I love Sarah Lance. I don't care what you guys say. I love Sarah Lance, and I like the whole idea. I love the whole idea of putting not just heroes, like putting together heroes from both Arrow and the Flash. But not only that, we got two villains from the Flash being put together. And then, of course, we got new character Rip Hunter and time traveling, like Doctor Who shit going on here. And, of course, the return of apparently who I thought was dead, Vandal Savage, guys. Blah! But we all know from previous crossover episode with Arrow and Flash that Malcolm Merlyn, being the dumbass of Ra's al Ghul himself, after Team Arrow and Flash killed Vandal Savage, freaking Malcolm Merlyn, friggin' took Vandal Savage's some of his wasn't some or all, but I know for a fact that he took ashes from Vandal Savage, so maybe that's why he's alive here. But anyway, going to the pilot episode. Let's get to it now. Basically, it starts off with in the year 2166, which is like 150 years from now, from what my calculations are correct, I hope. It is 150 years from now, and like Vandal Savage apparently has successfully conquered the entire planet. Whoopee to us all, right? But anyway, pretty much in an effort to save humanity, time traveler Rip Hunter, he pretty much is trying to appeal to, hang on, what do you call it? The Time Council, there you go. Pretty much Rip Hunter is pretty much talking to the Time Council around him saying, we gotta stop Vandal Savage at all costs. Please grant me permission to go back in time to gather up a team to stop Savage. And from what we heard, basically, the Time Council's like, it's a bad idea, you should not mess with time. You mess with time, all hell will break loose, right? Which is pretty much true in, like, all shows that pretty much involve, you know, going in time, you know, time travel. We've seen it in Flash already with, the Flash going back, traveling so fast that he managed to go back in time. And, we saw when Flash went back in time how he did some things that managed to alter the timeline and screw everything up for him. So it happens in almost every show that involves time travel. You don't mess with time, and that's what the Time Council's trying to tell Rip Hunter. But he's so adamant to going all the way back to 2016 to get a team. So basically, we see certain people from both Arrow and Flash going about their lives. Basically, we see Ray Palmer, who apparently was helping Oliver with some sort of mission. And when he, like, pretty much beats up a bunch of bad guys, Rip Hunter kidnaps him. We see Sarah Lance, who we haven't seen since, you know, Sarah got revived. You know, she went, like, maybe 1 or 2 missions with Team Arrow, and she ended up killing someone. And she decided to leave and, like, find herself and try to deal with her rage and stuff. We finally see where she is. She's in Tibet. You know, she ends up helping this one innocent woman there that's being harassed by men. She beats the crap out of all them. She ends up getting kidnapped also by Rip Hunter. And then we see Jefferson Jackson and Martin Stein, a.k.a. Firestorm. I'm guessing, like, doing, like, some sort of solo mission because they're by themselves in Firestorm form, you know, beating up some bad guys, and that they end up getting kidnapped after they separate. They both end up getting kidnapped. Carter Hall and Kendra Saunders, they're also doing, like, their own solo thing, because last time we saw them, after defeating Vandal Savage and all that stuff the first time with Team Arrow and Flash, Kendra decided to go with Carter back to this one place where in their past life they were fairly happy, right? And we see them there in the same place, fighting bad guys and all that stuff. and all of a sudden they end up getting kidnapped, and then finally Rip Hunter, who in his time-traveling ship is talking to Gideon. I don't know if you guys remember, Gideon was that AI program lady that Reverse Flash was talking to most of season 1. You guys remember her, right? You know how Reverse Flash, in the form of Dr. Wells, in most of the first season, if not the whole first season, was pretty much the AI program that was pretty much helping Reverse Flash, you know, and apparently she comes back and is apparently the AI inside Rip Hunter's time-traveling plane, ship thing. But anyway, when they're getting the last two people, which is Mick Rory and Leonard Snart, who we all know as Heatwave and Captain Cold, she's like, you do realize these are villains. Why are you getting villains? And you're like, sorry, hang on. I am so sorry about that. I had like a sneeze attack. But anyway, they're pulling off this little bit. I'm not sure if it's not really a bank heist, but they obviously rob something or someone. And they also end up getting kidnapped too. Because when they're like on the road, getaway car and all that stuff, freaking Rip Hunter's like right in front of their car, and they end up getting kidnapped. It's like hilariously funny. But anyway, with everyone assembled, Rip Hunter pretty much asked them, you know, you guys are legends. I need your help to stop Vandal Savage from conquering the world. And he pretty much shows them what happens in 2166. And the whole thing, like, where you're from, you guys aren't just heroes, you guys are legends and all that stuff, like we saw in the previews, which were pretty cool. The only exception to what we saw in the previews, to what happened, with everyone assembled and Rip telling them about the legends part, was the fact that both Oliver and Barry were not on the rooftop. If you guys remember on the previews, Oliver and Barry were talking about their lives as heroes and talking to the team about them stopping Vandal Savage. In the show, they were not present on the rooftop, but they were still present in, well, not Barry, but Oliver was present in the episode. He was the one pretty much guiding Ray during that mission before he got kidnapped. And we also see Laurel, which is pretty cool. But anyway, going back to this episode, basically he gives them their card, like, meet me here if you guys decide to, you know, join. And I think out of the whole thing, what I liked was the fact that, you know, Mick and Leonard, they're like, Mick doesn't think it's a good idea, but I love the fact that Leonard, being a villain, is like, yeah, I don't like being a hero like you don't, but if we go back in time, we could steal all these famous things that, like, right when they're created. Like, he even mentioned the Mona Lisa. He's like, we could steal the Mona Lisa right when it's done freaking being painted. We could steal, like, the Hope Diamond right when it's created and all that stuff. So that's the reason why they joined. I don't remember specifically why Carter and Kent... I think Carter wanted to join because, you know, to try to stop Vandal Savage for good, considering they almost did before. And Kendra didn't want to, like, die again. And so I remember those two fought each other to determine if they were going or not. And then, Ray asked Oliver's, opinion, because Ray kept thinking, you know, I feel like like a nobody, like no one missed me when I supposedly died. I want to make something of myself. And basically Oliver's like, go ahead and join this team if that's what you think will help. And Sarah also got advice from Laurel, and in turn, the whole sister bonding, Laurel surprised Sarah with a new outfit, which is the white outfit, saying, we finally found out where that costume came from. According to Laurel, she got that costume made for Sarah, and it was made by Cisco. Hey! And also the name drop of White Canary made its first appearance. But my favorite has got to be Dr. Martin Stein and Jefferson Jackson, like, Jax did not want to do anything about it. He's like, I'm 20, I don't want to die, I got so much ahead of my life. And Stein's like, okay, fine, I'll do this by myself. And the funniest thing is, Stein ends up drugging Jax and dragging him with them to go time travel, which I thought was hilariously funny. But anyway, basically with the whole team assembled with like a drugged up Jax, Rip pretty much takes them to 1975 to talk to a professor named Professor Boardman. I believe his name is Boardman, who apparently is the leading expert on Vandal Savage, to pretty much get assistance to locating Savage, right? And during that whole time traveling thing, Jax finally wakes up from being drugged. And I love it because there is like this cute little moment before they took off to 1975 where Mick was like, you drugged him? I don't know what kind of roofie you drugged him with, but I want some of that. And Stein's like, I didn't roofie him. It's like, I'm not judging. I love that interaction between Stein and Mick. It's like hilariously funny. Hang on. I'm sorry, I got distracted. But anyway, another thing that I thought was kind of cute was when, during the middle of the time traveling, Jax finally wakes up from being drugged. And he's all flipping out, like, take me back home, take me back now. Can't believe you drugged me. I love the dynamic between this team. It is so adorably adorkable. Hang on, my phone is buzzing. But anyway, I will get more into detail about it, but I want to kind of like cover this episode in general. Anyway, they finally meet with Boardman, and while they're talking to him about locating Savage, we also find out that Boardman reveals himself to be the son of Kendra and Carter from a past life. And I'm like, what? Well, to be fair, they've had like, what, 200 something past lives. So it's to be expected, but at the same time, it's kind of not. Like, I never expected that one of Kendra and Carter's past lives would have a child. I mean, you would think that they would die and come back again to train up, be warriors, and like fight Vandal Savage only to die again. I didn't think that they had enough time to actually have enough peace and quiet time to actually start a family. I never thought it was possible, but apparently it did, and they had a son, and it ends up being that professor, and I'm like, holy mother of hell. And this must be like totally crazy for Kendra. She's like, wait, you're my son? What? It must be hella trippy for Kendra. Like, apparently this does not, this doesn't faze Boardman at all, because, of course, he's been studying Vandal Savage, and he's, of course, been studying his own parents and their past lives, you know what I mean? And so, it didn't really faze him that he ends up seeing the reincarnation of his parents, like, right in front of him, right? But Carter, he seemed really shocked, but, you know, Carter, he's pretty somewhat stone-faced compared to Kendra. I mean, Kendra, when she was shocked, it was obvious on her face. Carter, he was like slightly more stone-faced, but I'm not gonna lie, if I was Kendra and I found out that, holy crap, me and Carter here had a son in one of our past lives, and we're talking to him right now, I would be like, I'm talking to my past life son, you guys. I mean, if that was me, and I end up finding a son that I had in my past life who's like an old dude, and he's like, Mom, oh my god, you are the reincarnation of my mother. I'm like, I got a son, yo. I don't know about you guys, and I'm running out of time. I'm gonna have a part 2. But anyway, I'll see you guys for a mini part 2 on this, and I'll get into more detail of Legends of Tomorrow, the pilot episode, part 1. It's literally called Pilot Part 1. So literally on my video, it's gonna say Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1, Episode 1, Pilot Part 1, Part 1. See you guys for Part 2. Bye.